Thanks, Felice. So welcome everybody to Words and Art here at the CAM. My name is Mary Wemple, the creator and coordinator of the series. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. Thank you especially to everyone at the CAM, Felice Cleveland, for getting this all set up here. Thanks to Michael Simmons over here for all the equipment set up. All the works tonight have been inspired by Cary Leibowitz Museum Show. So are you ready to get started? Good. All your cell phones are turned off? Okay. Everyone, please welcome Winston Durden.
It's nice to sit close so that the applause doesn't run out before you get to the mic. We've been doing Words and Art for quite a while, and it used to be with installations, and so you'd walk into the room and the art was all around you. And it's been a little bit different looking at exhibits, but I kind of took the same approach to this one, so I've made references into my poem about a number of different pieces that are in the exhibit. This is called Ident-a-T. If I hate me and love me, do I really know me? Wait, is that know me or know me? I don't know. Perhaps you would like to know me or know me. Then you could explain me to me, a me to me for you to know, or know. But I don't know. Copy that. Just the same, we could discover the great unknown together, where I might knit a clever mitten or a clever hat. Would I look like a nitwit wearing that? Under that hat, might I love myself and wonder why? Accept paradox as orthodox? A new neurosis? Wait, can I still struggle with identity once I know who is mean? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Struggle is identity. Thank you.
Thanks, Winston. Our next reader is Serena Ermitanio. Taller when you were sitting down. Thank you.
I think you feel a little better, honestly. Hi, I'm Serena. This is my first poetry reading here. And okay, thank you. And most of my inspiration came from one particular piece. It was essentially a manifesto by the artist, all typewritten. And I thought it was interesting the way he was just very candid with that particular piece and with everything, honestly. And I feel like some of the things he mentions in his artwork is relatable to a budding artist such as me. So here's a poet's statement. My stomach swells as I lay watching the sky burst and melt between pinks and blues. The fat remains. My skin hums uneasy. Epiphany, please, I exclaim, almost in prayer. I worship the light of poetry's ghosts, of Plath and Eliot, of Yeats and Cummings, whose stanzas fled generously and soothed critics' barren calluses. But one day I will write of anguish and mercy, with a gossamer hand, just like the Beats, just like the women of Harlem, and bleed into more supple hands, yet to be worn dry by art's oligarchy. I will try until my body turns into decay, or a poem turns into a library book. I will try.
Thank you. Our next reader is Jacoby Wayne, and she is going to be up here behind me in just a minute. She is all the way across the country. There she is. Can you hear me, Jacoby Wing?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you are. We can hear you. Go right ahead.
Great. Okay. Hello from steamy Vermont. I think we have about the same temperature as you do. Thanks, as always, to Mary and to Cam and the crew, sound and video. Thank you so much. And everybody's faces. I can't quite see everyone today, but I can see Winston and Billy. So, hi, everyone. This poem was inspired by the repetition and seeming sort of interchangeability of certain parts. So, stop copying me, stop copying me, stop copying me could really be swapped in many directions. So this poem is interesting to play with. It has panels that you can sort of, it's very interactive in terms of choosing and exploring how and if they relate. I'm going to read it in the way that it presented itself, but I encourage you to afterwards read it however you'd like. Wall of 12. You thought I was going to say something snide, but I'm going to say something positive. One man's poop is another man's pollen. One boy's pride is a little girl's shame, which she turns into power because she can and always could. What? They didn't tell you before you came that humanity is beautiful, that it does ugly and hateful on the way to creating beauty because its nature is contrast. We'd best get busy, you and I. We have an agreement. You be funny in your pain. I will wrap you in your sorrow. And as she, I will turn you into power because you can and always could. Thank you.
Yay. Thanks, Jacoby. Please welcome our next reader, Dom Zuccone.
Okay, you can hear me in the back? Yes? No? You good? Okay. All right. I practiced on the way over to be louder, but I went to school started high school in 1963. And it was a more restrained period, yes, than it is now. And there was a moment in my high school, which was a restrictive Catholic high school, when a student came forward and announced his sexuality. This poem is entitled Purple of Naxos. Naxos is the island that Bacchus or Dionysus was traveling to when he was captured. And if you don't know the story, look it up. Purple of Naxos for Joey P. What did we know? Metamorphosis, badly translated Latin, grudged exercises, backseat bacchanal, and a woolly jaw dancing at the homecoming stomp. Thursdays, queers wear green. It's well known in gym classes. Pagan pink laid ours out for a night on an autumn bench. And an abandoned garland of love bites, a disgraced with button-down collar. As if a disembarked sailor half dragged out of biology, adorned. No other word could describe him. Adorned in an orchid sweater. His father labored in a steel mill like all of ours. His grandmother's woolen babushka of that mountain of grandmas and churches. Hunky heaven, aluminum siding, blue cedars and breezeways, elms guarding devil strips for blocks of vets, now day sleepers, violet in front of flickering TVs, sex packed up in wax paper and lunch sacks, life, three-shift mazes, traditional combat, hubris, then prudent choruses waiting to stay obedient, endure silence and lies. Joey, lucid and Orlon epiphany, a god suspended from a high school. We slept in a body of rumors, transistor radios, undone assignments. His divinity awakening, appeared throned as a star. Joey slouched in a plastic chair, waiting for the judgment of the vice principal's office, seeming bored by the orgy in flame, dozing. In the vestibule, a portrait of a desiccated priest bloomed lavender. Violet tendrils filled the lace cups of sophomore brassieres. Lilac ivy itched inside white briefs. Nuns shook off the dark rosaries binding their waists. Door jambs squirmed apart. Torsos tattooed mad periwinkle. Pubic clappers peeling a pheromone sea, and we reborn as dolphins.
Thank you, Dom. Our next reader, Gerald Cedillo, couldn't make it this evening, so instead Winston Durden is going to read his poem for him in his place.
I don't know if I can get on the right side of the light here. I don't know if I can muster the stentorian bravo that Gerald brings to his readings, but I'll give it a shot here. This is called All Is Well. An often told joke goes like this. 3 iron workers eat their lunch 800 feet atop a New York City skyscraper, complaining about the same meal day in and day out. All 3 men decide to jump. At the funeral, 2 wives wail and sob, "If only I had known, I would have made him something different." But the 3rd wife does not cry. She says to them, "I don't understand this Schmendrick. He made his own lunch." Humor is in the retelling, maybe. When I speak, everything is flammable. Words curl in the fire of my mind. They extinguish before I can get much out. I spit and stammer. I'm no joke teller. To better ensure a response, try stating something untrue. I'd give anything, a friend of mine overheard, to have half of Gerald's charm. My brother asked, "Do this favor. You're good at schmoozing." Fortson and I, on the balcony at some college party, rehashed the nastiest joke we could imagine. All the accompaniment of grotesque words and image. I bet our guests wish they could jump off. In jail, the inmates recite Saturday night sketches and stand-up routines. We laugh until they make us stop. Aren't we always fearful our gifts desert us? Dylan Thomas drank to fuel that engine, or force forgetting. They put his last words as 18 whiskeys, straight, a record. Oh, the ubiquitous they, devilish they. I wish I could gather all the theys and jump off. Another. A farmer drives to town one sweltering summer, sees an old man carrying a giant suitcase. "Get in." "Thank you," says the old man. "And so as not to take advantage of your kindness, I left my suitcase in the road." like the ironworker staring down the cold smile of another ham sandwich. I am unable to conceive of a further future, how to outlive days being the butt end of a joke and instead be eminent, be an artist, an adult. I'd rather be mercilessly incoherent. That's a record. World-class schnook, underdog. An expression on his face that says, all is well. Well, that idiot made his own lunch.
Thank you, Winston. Next up is Neil Ellis Orts.
Hi, I'm Neil. Deflection, reflection. I don't have an introduction. I was going to read. Charles Nelson Riley sat in the same seat for years on Match Game, top row next to Brett Summers. They were funny together, giving each other jabs and showed friendship without suggesting romance. He was quick-witted, clever with a double entendre, even if I didn't always get both meanings at the time. He was smart without being self-serious. He could make and take a joke about his toupee. I liked Charles Nelson Riley a lot. Uncle Arthur was my favorite of Samantha's magical relatives. Snide, caustic, but ultimately adoring of his niece, he seemed above it all, but with a heart. Later, Paul Lynde took up his residency as the center square on Hollywood Squares, where he indirectly told us all about himself, making us gasp and then laugh at his audacity. He disarmed us with humor, sharp as any saber. Cary Leibowitz says, "It just occurred to me I haven't thought about suicide in weeks." It's funny unless it's true, or because it's true. A little of both. It's not as if anyone is lying. When did I learn to deflect with humor? When did I learn to tell the truth in the form of a joke so it wouldn't be taken seriously? Did Charles Nelson Riley and Paul Lynde teach me that? Or was it the dominant culture that made it clear to them and me that our truth told seriously was dangerous? Self-preservation is a strong instinct. It's a fat gay Jewish baseball fan putting Perry Como on a list of famous gay Jewish baseball players. It's a fat gay tow-headed farm boy naming Aquaman as his favorite super friend because he was blonde and unpopular. We're always looking for ourselves or for heroes. If we have to make an Italian crooner a Jewish baseball player, or the king of the seven seas a nice German Lutheran farm boy, we'll make it work. There was still something true in the make-believe. But there was a time when a boy who didn't yet know what to call himself looked at the villain on Lidsville and saw something mirrored back. The over-the-top and flamboyance in camp were clues. There's someone who is somehow like me. Even when he was playing the villain, I liked Charles Nelson Riley a lot. Why, I couldn't name yet, and to be sure, neither could he without making a joke of it. A pie chart might be useful here. It's a big, solid pink circle. The legend below it has 3 squares, all the same pink color. By the first pink square is the word joke. By the second is the phrase make-believe. By the third pink square is the word truth.
Thank you, Neil. Next up is Sandy Stromberg.
Whoops.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Mary. As I was going around the exhibit, looking at everything, I kept thinking of the Episcopalian Book of Common Prayer, where there's always this call and response from the pastor to the congregation. And somehow that got rather convoluted in my head when I was working on this poem, but Cary Leibowitz kept speaking to me, and I felt like I had to answer. So, and I think I identified with a whole lot of his neuroses and insecurities. So, call and response. I need a hero. I can't do this. I can't do this. Where is a savior for this poor soul? Someone to clean out the stables, kill the lion of Nemea, navigate Scylla and Charybdis. It's not humility or humbleness. It's regret. Oh God, please relieve him of his suffering, of being Jewish, of being gay. The only thing more superficial than me is my work. Don't hate me because I'm mediocre. Loser line forms here. Command him to rejoice in his one-man shows, the value placed on his colorful laments. So funny. It just occurred to me. It just dawned on me. Hey, I'm not depressed anymore. I haven't thought about suicide in weeks. Lord, let him know the end and the number of his days. If you try really hard and still fail, you deserve all the sympathy you can get. It is written that Jesus welcomed even sinners into his arms. Misery loves company. They put up with me because I'm colorful. May he be resurrected from the dusty blues of his anxieties, the pale greens of his neuroses, and delivered from his hot pink scream, Epiphany, please!
Thank you, Sandy. Now, I always say this for our next reader, but it isn't a joke, and people always laugh, but it's true. Please welcome Chuck Wemple, my favorite poet.
Thank you, Mary. Good evening, everybody. I've got a found poem. That means almost all the words, with the exception of about 5, I think, are part of the exhibit out here and have been rearranged. For example, the word the in the title isn't out there, stomach isn't out there, but most everything else is. I need a little bit of help from you, though, when I read it. So when we get to a line that starts with everyone, I need you to do whatever the action is. So, for example, there's a line that says, everybody applaud, and there's a name, so you do applaud. So let's try it. Everyone applaud. There's one, everyone whistle. Okay, good, we're ready to go. Okay. It's going to go a little fast. Found, not found. Epiphany in the basement. Respect George Washington. Excuse me, let me start over. Respect George Jefferson. Smell cotton, jealous chickens. Everyone applaud George Jefferson. Everyone applaud George Washington. Everyone applaud me. I stole a box of Gucci shoes for you. I whistle as Paul Lynn redecorates Mount Vernon. Smell cotton, jealous apples. I gobble candy aspirin. You pump my secret stomach. Look, spaghetti pants. Everyone point. Everyone point. Everyone applaud. Look, broccoli shoes. Broccoli candy. I smell teenage oysters. Or is it the runaway sea? Box of spaghetti, table 1. Oyster 5225, Table 1. Oyster 5887, Table 1. Escalator sandwich, chicken butthole sandwich, Table 1. Everyone whistle. Everyone whistle. Everyone, I realize, Table 1. Smell cotton, jealous love. Smell cotton, Gucci shoes. Smell me, please. What'd you smell? Sissy, loser, hero, love. I can't whistle. I can whistle. I told you thoughts. I told you secrets. Everyone, please, respect George Jefferson. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. He is pretty darn good. He's my favorite poet. Please welcome our next reader, John Milkwright.
No whistling is required for my poem. Oh, that was great, Chuck. If you wish. Optional. My poem, I was really taken in with a lot of the elements in the exhibit, and Mary cautioned me to not be overwhelmed, and I tried to not be overwhelmed, but I was still overwhelmed, and all I could think of was to try and capture Cary's voice in a persona poem. So this is my imagination, imagining Cary's voice. Monologue schmondologue. It's not like or dislike, it's how you figure this stack of trash cans with me in a beige suit helps my self-esteem, because the smaller cans are for liars and cheaters who don't move as one in a season where there are two umbrellas over sympathy instead of one. But crying love always leads to a bigger piece of the pie chart, to only hope. There isn't a line of criticism when I wear colorful clothes, because they put up and smile as a dinner date would if I ate a plate of spaghetti and drank chocolate milk from an official holder. But not every hour will end up happy, more likely to waver between blue sad and yellow sad. Jealousy doesn't help either, nor does sitting around all day eating fried chicken. Does not make sadness any better. It is not worth copying me or meeting me on an airplane like a friend of George Michael. I work for the Candy Apple Escalator Repair Company. My self-esteem is less than a nickel. Sadness is gritty, but I love that you're funny. Maybe the tunnel of love will help me. You could see me if I could love you more than Michael Jackson. I'm always hungry. If I don't get a flat tire, you could be my hero.
Thank you, John. Please welcome our next reader, Billy Duncan.
Okay, I can't hold it. You can't hold it? You know, I probably could, but I just want to make Mary work. I think probably I could be heard, however. But you're recording, right? Okay, well, then we can do this. Here, why don't you move it right? Yeah, just move it in a little bit, and we'll go like this, and I'll just lean as if I'm just really like this microphone. Anyway, hi, my name is Billy Duncan, but my friends just call me the fabulous Billy Duncan, and you may call me Fab. Okay. All right, and I am not going to do an introduction either, unless it might be to say no. Okay, this has been really good so far. I hope I don't break the spell or whatever. Oh dear, now I've become boring. All right. The courage of a candy ass. It's words as creation with a price tag on it all. Modern art, 5 cents. Self-esteem, 4 cents. On different placards, but the cartes du jour follow the sense of worth in the object d'art themselves. Hard to miss the gay Jew infected with terminal celebrity worship littered throughout his work. Obsession, depression, confession. Bright colors belie the angst of a pinwheel of penance, of negativity. Warm clothing has knitted yellow triangles. 3 videos of the artist play at the same time, so nothing can be clearly understood. From civil rights icons to a forgotten cowboy star, entertainers, actors, artists, people in his placards, some with signatures of unknown names scribbled across their faces. Hilarity, vulgarity, temerity. As Candy Ass reminds us, game, wait, now. Of course, context matters. You can't be dead all the time. In a perfect mind, commas set off can't, turning the phrase. As one of Leibowitz's placards claims, you're smarter than me. The reply should be, then it's not. All the self-deprecation of a self-proclaimed candy ass rises with smiling, sharpened teeth to bite his own instigations. But as the Ring of Solomon said, this too shall pass.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
But as an addendum, I would like to thank Mary Wemple and the museum for all of their support.
Thanks to Cam. Thank you, Billy. And please welcome our next reader, Elena Petrova.
Good evening, everyone. My short poem is called Conceptually Leibowitsky. It starts in the end of the letter, sincerely, conceptually Leibowitsky. An older kid hits you with a baseball bat, calls your yarmulke face. You squeal, "Why did you do that? It hurts." As the dance grins at you, not understanding the concept. That's when art hits the fan. Call it birth of pathetic aesthetics, but since bar mitzvah, I've never felt as a part of a group. I don't speak on behalf of other people. I only spit words on behalf of my neurosis. Fat, sad, whiny, lazy, a loser in faggy boom boom t-shirt. I should be shot. I spent election day on my sofa with 6 Nelson Mandela face printed pillows. Brooklyn is not the universe. It's not expanding in the continuum of years that line up like identical Warhol trash cans filled with misery and laughter, prints and auctions of self-esteem. If other people were, like me, more into Baroque and Rauschenberg, we would not have faced the concept of the word zero tolerance and vintage baloney of I want my country back. I speak only for myself, painting my words askew with random capital letters. Don't hate me because I'm mediocre. Stop copying me for the same reason.
Thank you, Elena. Next up is Randall Nolte.
Thank you, Mary. The installation by Cary Leibowitz has a lot of humor in it,
a lot of self-ridicule, and I think an underlying theme of depression. And sometimes that is not even underlying. Sometimes it's right out in the open. But one thing that I find really remarkable about this artist is that although he obviously has a lot of depression in his life, to me it seems that way, he didn't let that stop him. He went on. He put one foot in front of the other and kept going. And now he has created a body of work that a lot of people can relate to. So my poem is to salute the spirit of courage that he had in going on with his difficult situation. I wrote my piece in the form of limericks, and I'm not even really sure why myself, but the whole installation just kind of, I have the sense of a limerick with it all. And a limerick is humorous usually and has some irony. My piece is not humorous and doesn't have much irony, but there might be a little if you look for it. Hero. A gay Jew was often depressed, but dealt with his problems in jest. With courage and grit and humor and wit, he made art that widely impressed. A woman was always in pain. She searched for relief, but in vain. She still gave a smile and loved all the while and always tried not to complain. A man had to care for his wife through illness and madness and strife. By her did he stand, and his steady hand was true to the end of her life. We don't see what people go through or fathom what they have to do. Whatever their woe, in silence they go. Could one quiet hero be you? Thank you.
Thank you, Randall. Our final reader is Tracy Cedro.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you to all the poets for sharing their prose and also their poetry. So again, my name is Dr. Tracy Cedro, and I'm also here representing my twin sister, Stacey. And we actually both graduated from Rice University, and we participated in our first Words in Art reading back in 2011, so a long time ago. And so now we're here today. And so now I'm currently a physical medicine and rehab physician training at Baylor College of Medicine, and Stacey is in New York studying also to be a doctor. So that's why she couldn't be here today, but she's with us in spirit. And so the poem that we wrote is called Missing Mirror, and we were inspired by the panels, of course, that say Stop Copying Me, and also because Stacey and I have a lot of twin vibes, so that's kind of the things that we kind of thought of. And then we also wanted to apply our poem to everyone. And so a lot of times when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see our twin or our double. And in fact, our poem kind of looks like the format is like a mirror. And one of the things, the original plan was that Stacey and I were actually going to act out our poem as if there were a mirror between us. And also, because we're in the medical field, we wanted to incorporate some medical or medicine into our poem. So you'll find things like incorporating the stages of grief. So we incorporated acceptance, denial, and bargaining. And so since this is our first poem together, we actually wanted to challenge ourselves to do something different. And we've previously published and spoken nationally on topics about personal development, and these are more positive things. But, and we looked at things like how to be your best, tips on how to be successful, and how to be happy and healthy. But in this poem, we really wanted to incorporate things such as themes of internal conflict, of jealousy, and of despair and loneliness. And so that's also what mimics what is seen in Leibowitz's exhibit. And so sometimes when you look at ourselves in the mirror, we actually are very self-critical of ourselves, and we talk to each other in the negative way and creating a lot of negative emotions. But if we actually try to turn that around and speak to ourselves in a more positive light and encouraging and empowering words, imagine how much happier would we be. And so that's just something to reflect on. And so now, missing mirror. Stop copying me. Just stop. I'm not you, and you're not me. I have black hair. No, mine is darker. Well, I'm skinny, and I am slim. I'm petite. I beat you by an inch. Stop copying me. Just stop. I like red. I like blue. I run. I swim. I dance. I sing. I dare you to copy me. I'm great at math. Well, I'm great too. I'm a doctor. Well, me too. I have a dog. Got two. I can take a dare. I'll dare you to. Why are we so different when we are actually the same? Time changed us. Work changed us. Now we look back and wish we had those memories, those games. But here we are, apart. I'm here, and you're there. Wish you were right here, right here. Where are you? Please copy me, please, please. I'm alone, please keep me company. You understand me, you do too. But I'm lost without you. Thank you.
Thank you to all our featured readers. Let's give them one more hand, all the featured readers. If you want to be on my email list to get more information about Words and Art, it's right here. I'll pass it around. Come get it afterwards. Thanks again to everyone at the CAM. This was awesome. Thanks for all your help. And thanks to all of you. Thanks you, and have a good evening.